Now we will develop a 2D domain for CFD. In CFD, you can do 2D simulation and 3D simulation, as we discussed earlier. It's better to understand the 2D and 3D simulation because when you do 2D simulation, you can save a lot of computational time and you can resolve pretty much interesting results compared to 3D. So if you see this slide, this is the problem setup, flow over a cylinder that we discussed earlier. So we want to develop a 2D geometry for 2D simulation for this problem. If you see close to this domain, in the left side you have the right side view and the front view, and the right side is our 3D view of our cylinder and the domain. So from this domain, if you want to develop a 2D domain, it should look like the right side view, and the dimensions are given below. The diameter of the cylinder is 1 inch and the domain is based on the diameter d. As you can see, the domain is 100 times longer than the diameter and 20 times wider than the diameter itself, and the center of the cylinder is also the center of the domain. So we will first develop the 2D domain for the simulation. So let's go to the geometry module, and now we will develop this geometry in XY plane. You can also develop the geometry in XZ plane or YZ plane as well. So let's start with XY plane. So if you select XY plane, it will show you here in the graphics window. Then if you go here, the new sketch, if you select here, it will show the sketch. Now you can change the name, just right clicking here and rename it. Let's say cylinder. Now you can draw this cylinder in XY plane, but right now your coordinate system is a 3D view. So how you can see the XY plane? Just go here in the cylinder, right click and click look at. So now you can see the 2D plane. Now go to the sketching tabs and select the circle here. Now when you are selecting the circle, your mouse point is right now is a pencil. That means it's ready for drawing your geometry. And there is a most important thing you need to know, that when you take this pencil close to the axis, it will show you a C point, and if you take this close to the origin, it will show you a P point. This is very important to draw from a single point. When this cursor or this pencil appears from C to P, you will start drawing. That's a good practice. So first draw a circle. Now this is a circle and the diameter of the circle is 1 inch. So we have to give the dimension of the circle. So what we have to do, I said earlier, the detailed view, you can see how it changes and the detail of your sketch. And I also showed you about the sketching tab. You have modify option, you have dimension option. So go to dimension, and here you can see you can give dimension as radius or diameter. So select diameter and then select any edge of the circle and it will show you the diameter d1. Now what's the value of d1? We don't know. But here in the detailed view, you can see right now the diameter is 6.125 inch. So select here, you can change it here. So our diameter is 1 inch. So change it to 1. And now you can see the diameter is right now 1 inch. You can change it to 2 inch if you want, 2 inch, and it will increase the diameter. But right now we have 1 inch, so our diameter is 1 inch. The most important thing is, if you go to the modeling tab, you can see this cylinder, and here is the generate button. So every time when you draw something, you have to generate your sketch. So select generate. Right now your circle is being generated. Now the domain is 100 times the diameter, and 20 times diameter is its width. So we will draw the domain. So in the XY plane, go to sketch, set a new sketch. You can rename this, you can name it domain. It's very good practice when you draw something, you name it accordingly so that you know what you are going to draw and how you can change later time. So the domain, go to sketch tab, and we have to draw a rectangle. So you have two options for rectangle. One is 2-point rectangle, another is 3-point rectangle. You can take any one of these. So let's say we want 2-point rectangle, and we draw from here to here. Okay, so now it's not in dimension, so we have to make it dimension. So go to dimension option, and you have two options here, horizontal and vertical. So when you try to give a dimension in vertical direction, you have to select the vertical option, and when you try to give dimension in horizontal, you can select this, or you can select general, and it will take the horizontal and vertical itself. In some case you need to select horizontal or vertical if you have an inclined plane. So let's say horizontal, we have 100D, so it should be 100 inch. So let's give it, go to horizontal and go to general and select this line. So this is H2. Right now H2 is 14 inch, so we need to change it to 100 inch. Don't worry about the asymmetric position, we will fix that. And for vertical we have V3 is right now 6 inch, but it should be like 20D, so 20 inch. So give it 20. Now this is the domain, and our cylinder is here, but we don't want our cylinder here, we want our cylinder at the middle. So how we can change, or we can place this cylinder at the middle of the domain? Very simple. So if you see this geometry, you can see this is at the middle of the domain. So if the domain is 100D, then the center will be 50D apart. So our horizontal distance will be 50D from the center. So we will do that. How? Select the horizontal option, select this point and also select this point, and you will get H4. So right now H4 is 6.99 inch, make it 50. So now horizontally the center is at the middle, but we have to change this center at the middle vertically also. Same thing, if you go here, this is 20D, so it should be 10D from the center, from the top edge or bottom edge. So take a vertical dimension option, select the center and select any point at the edge. So this is V5, so make it 10. Now it's in the center. So right now this is the domain, the big rectangle is the domain, and this is our cylinder. But what we have to do, we have to generate it. So click generate. Now our geometry is created, but this is a line. So if you see here in the part and body option, you don't have any part, you don't have any body right now. So for 2D simulation, it's very important that you have to create the surface for the domain. If you draw this, it makes no sense for Fluent. So what we have to do, we have to develop a surface. How are we going to create that surface? Okay, very easy. So to make the surface, we will use this concept menu, and we will create the surface by surface from sketches. So right now we have two sketches, one is the cylinder, another is the domain. So we can create two surfaces. Let's create the cylinder surface. So if you go to concept, select surface from sketches, and in the detail view it will ask you to select the base object. So right now our base object is the cylinder, so we can select from here or we can select from here and then apply. So our base object is being selected, and the operation, you have very interesting option here. One is add material, another is add frozen. So add material means it will give you material like solid or fluid, and add frozen, it means whenever you are drawing any objects at the top of another object, it will take two objects separately. So it's a good practice to select add frozen, and then you can see here a YOLO sign that shows you it is asking to generate this operation. So it generate, and now it's been generated as a surface. So this is a surface. As you can see here, there is a one part and one body, and that's the surface body. This is the surface body. It's a 2D. So you can change the name like a cylinder body or cylinder surface. Now we will create the surface for the domain. The same operation. Go to concept, surface from sketch, and it will ask you the base object. Our base object is our domain. You can select here, apply, then the base object is being selected, and then operation, change it to add frozen, and it is asking you to generate the object, so generate. So this operation is being done. Here you can see the green sign, so it means that this operation is perfectly done. And here you have another part, another body. This is the surface body, you can rename it like domain body. Okay, so the interesting part is right now you have two part and two body. This is the cylinder body here. If you select here, this is the cylinder body and this is the domain, two body, and these two body is overlapping each other. Okay, and this cylinder body, the type of this surface is solid, we will change it to fluid. The same thing, we will change it to domain from solid to fluid and generate. Now it's being generated, but it's two part and two body here. But in CFD we don't need this cylinder anymore. We just need this domain, and anything here will be considered as a wall at the periphery of this circle. So what we have to do, we have to cut this cylinder from the domain, or we have to subtract this surface, this cylinder surface, from the domain surface. How are we going to do that? We will use this create menu and we will use this Boolean operation. It's a very important operation for any CFD domain generation. So select this Boolean, and here in operation it will ask you what you want. Do you want to unit or unite? Do you want to subtract? Do you want to intersect? We want subtraction from the domain, so we select the subtraction and it will ask you two bodies. One is the target body, another is the tool body. So our target body is our domain from where we want to subtract, and our tool body is the cylinder that indicates which surface we want to subtract. So the target body, select the target body and select the domain, apply. In the tool body, select the cylinder and apply. Now you have a yellow sign here, so you need to generate. So generate it, and now you see the surface is being cut from the domain. The cylinder surface is being cut from the domain, and right now you have one part, one body, that is the domain. So fluid, this is all the surface are fluid, and this void space is nothing but the cylinder, and this line is the wall. So Fluent just need to take that wall as a cylinder. So fluid will flow over the cylinder, not inside the cylinder. That's why we cut this cylinder from this domain. So our 2D geometry is being done. Now the interesting thing is you can change your domain right now with these parameters. If you select this cylinder, it will show you the dimension. You can change the diameter of the cylinder, let's say from 1 to 5 inch. Generate. You can change your cylinder diameter. You can also change the domain size. You can select the domain. Let's say the length of the domain is 100. We want to change it to 60, and we want to take it at the middle, so 30. Generate. So you can change your domain. You can increase the width also. Let's say this is 30 and the middle would be 15. Generate. So every time when you are doing any operation, go to this button and generate, and it will show you a green sign, and in the project schematic it will also show you a green sign. This means your geometry has been done and there is no problem, and you can go to the next step, that is the meshing step. Otherwise you can't go to the meshings. So this is the 2D geometry. We developed our 2D geometry for 2D simulation, that is to create a surface and the wall for the body. In the next tutorial, we will develop the geometry for 3D simulation. Thank you.